As a matter of fact, I had a humble pie because 5 years ago I made a very bold statement that I now regret. I said, what can we learn from Christian scholars? I got the Torah. It made me realize really quickly that when you think you know, you don't know. Because every research that I'm reading now, there were Christian archaeologists who found all the information. They translated all the ancient languages of the Akkadian language. They found all that, they never made the connections. But they did the research. So I have to take it back and I repent. I learn from anybody. Every day. So the word adoption is when a vassal king submits to the suzerain, the great king, then the vassal king's people become adopted by the great king. It happened, ladies and gentlemen, when the Babylonian kingdom was destroyed by the Persians, the Persian king adopted all of the Babylonians to submit to him. It happened. That's why you placed them, you moved them all over the world. Okay? Now, some of you, this may be like, get to the point, Rico, I need to do this. If I don't do this, it won't make sense. Trust me. Before I put out a teaching on this stuff, I studied for like 5 months, 6, 7 hours a day to make sure that I have it right. And I got 3 people helping me with the research because it's too vast for me to do it on my own, and I want to be accountable. So I learn from them. You know, we bounce things with each other to make sure that we do the right thing. We don't have time to reinvent the wheel. We don't have time to study to be smart. We have time now to study to be the servant of the God requires. That's the whole motivation. Okay? So now, the word adoption is when a vassal king. So you know that through Yeshua, we all now in the kingdom, through Yeshua you've been adopted, you've been given the right to be the sons of God. Well, that's an immigration issue. How can you be? That's why Jewish people are not happy with us. Because the Jewish people are trying to get you to the kingdom their way. Their way, the way has been established by Judaism. But God is saying, no. You know, the Orthodox, they pray for us 3 times a day. Kibbutz Galiot. Sound the great shofar of freedom and restore the 4 corners of the earth. And then they pray Tzaddikim, the prayer of the righteous. For all the righteous, all those who call upon your name. Make our lot with them. Make our lot with them. Make our inheritance with them. That's what they're praying 3 times a day. And when we go to Israel, here I am. They said, you don't need to do the Torah. It's not for you. So how can you legally do this? The word brother, it was a term of a parity covenant. You called each other brothers and sisters, right? When you went to church for the first time, one of the lingos they showed you was, now he's your brother, that's your sister, and you call each other brothers and sisters. No one ever bothered you to explain to you why. Right? And you call, hey brother, how you doing? Mind you, you don't act like a brother towards each other, or maybe you do. It depends which family you come from. But all of a sudden now, they don't tell you why brother and sister. Because in the ancient world, the expression brother was an expression of a parity covenant. A parity covenant is 2 equal partners in covenant with each other to protect each other's boundaries, to provide for each other. If this guy goes to war, this guy will defend him. We see it in the Bible. It's called Genesis 14. Let's go there real quickly. Somebody read for me. Genesis 14, verse 16, please. Lot is taken captive, right?
And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot.
Wait. Brother Lot? That was his nephew. So why is he called his brother? Because they were in parity covenant. That's why they talked to each other. When Lot wanted to leave, he talked to Abraham. Yo, man, I'm taking off. You know, they're talking. They have supposed to have each other's interest in hand. So what? In some Bibles it says nephew, but in the majority of the Bible it says brother. Why does it say brother? Because it reflects a parity covenant. They're equal in status, but they have to have each other's interest. That's why when they took Lot captive, Abraham didn't talk about it. Abraham didn't think about it. Abraham picked up his men and went and defended him. Right? It's right there in the Bible. We never see it. Because we're not taught this. Solomon and Hiram from Lebanon. They were great friends. They were in covenant together. They were in a parity covenant. And that's why they always work with each other. After David died, they renewed the covenant between Solomon and Hiram. Come on, tell me you're getting this. So now let's go to the next word, love. The word love. The word love in the ancient world was a term of loyalty to the great king. So if I'm the great king and you're my prince over here in Lubbock, let's say that I'm the king of Texas, and you are one of my vassals who live in Lubbock. This is your kingdom. And you getting pretty strong, the people are really growing, and I know that eventually you may rebel against me, so I give you an opportunity. Submit to me, and I'll protect you from all your enemies. If somebody fights against you, I will defend you. I'll be a father to you, you'll be a son to me. The moment people hear that expression, everybody like Midland and Amarillo, all the other towns, they know that you're protected by my sovereignty, by my protection and everything. They won't touch you. Because if they try to do something against you, it's as if they do it against me. Okay? So what happens is that if you're faithful, if you're loyal to me, and I want to give you a gift, I say, my son, whom I love, that I'm loyal to. Yeshua says, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you're loyal to me, keep my commandments. If you love me, you love my Father. If you hate me, you hate my Father. Yahweh says, Esau I hated, Jacob I've loved. That has always caused me a lot of quandary. Because the word hate is a strong word. And to hear the Creator said that about a person, we all created by Him, right? So, but to hear that Yahweh says, Esau I hated. But in the context of a king, in a covenantal language, what it means is, Esau I'm not loyal to. Jacob, I'm loyal to. Because Esau rejected the inheritance and the birthright. But Jacob protected it. You see what I mean? So now, understanding the term is a covenantal legal term. So now it says, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha. And you shall love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. Wait a minute. Let's think about it from a covenantal perspective. It says, Hear, Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And then we said, Blessed be His name and His kingdom forever and ever. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. How in the world can you love God? By being loyal to what? To His commandments. So follow the structure of the Shema. You have to be a witness that He is God, and that His kingdom is everlasting kingdom. Then you have to proclaim your loyalty by doing what? With all your strength, with all your might. And then the next mandate is to teach your children to be loyal to the commandments you just became a witness to. So if you are Jewish, and you have circumcision, and you are not perfect Hebrew, and you live in Israel, but you don't teach your children to follow the commandments of God, that means nothing to the Lord. Because the covenantal language is acted upon. You have to act upon your loyalty. Ladies, you can finish this expression for me. Actions is... I could go anywhere in the world, and I've asked that question even in China. And even the Chinese, they say the same thing. They know, ladies, you've all been implanted with a supernatural chip in your brain when you're born, that you got to recognize and you understand that love is an expression of your actions. We don't get it, but women all know it. I go everywhere in the United States. Action is louder than everybody finishes it. It's all women. We don't care. We just want to respect me. Yeah, okay, that's all. That's good enough for me. Women want to know, man, learn this lesson, bro. She's always right. Even when you win an argument, you lost it. Mama happy, everybody's happy. So now the word love means loyalty. The word to know. The word know, yada. Okay? There was one person who came to Yeshua and says, Master, but I've done this in your name, and I've done this in your name, and I've done this in your name. And Yeshua says, Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. Well, rebellion, avon, pesha. But you see, the word yada, read it with me. The word yada means a term used. So let me put it in perspective. When Moses was interceding on behalf of Israel, because the father wanted to kill Israel for worshiping the golden calf, Moses made a prayer. He says, what will the nation, I'm paraphrasing, what will the nation say about you if you bring them out of Egypt and you kill them in the wilderness? He's defending the integrity of the name of the king who brought him out of slavery. He says, I'd rather die than your name be profaned. Okay? And then Moses says, if I have found favor in your eyes, show me your glory. And he says, and then the Lord answers and says, Moses, for I know you by name. And I got confused because I'm thinking, you know Moses by name here on Mount Sinai, but I thought you called him Moses out of the burning bush. So what happened? Did you forget his name along the way? No, what Yahweh is trying to tell Moses at that moment is, Moses, I recognize your faithfulness towards me. So now when you put the whole thing about the person approaching Yeshua, he says, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. In the ancient legal term, it means, I've never seen your faithfulness towards me. Because I said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you're loyal to me, you keep my commandments. Is this making sense? Every single one of these terms that we know in the Bible, they used to be ancient Near Eastern legal terms in ancient contracts and documents. Isn't that fascinating? When you read the Bible now, it takes a complete different... There's a prayer that is read in the Siddur. Check this out. I love this prayer. By the way, they used to do this in the temple. In the temple of Yeshua, the priest used to do that prayer in the temple. Okay? Listen to this. Now remember, the word love, from here on, you're going to think loyalty. When I say love, you're thinking loyalty, okay? Listen to our reads. It says, with an eternal love, you have loved us. Yahweh Elohim. With exceedingly great pity, you have pitied us, our Father, our King. You see the language? Our Father, our King. And then it says, for the sake of your great name, for the sake of our forefathers who trusted in you, in whom you taught the decrees of life, to do your will wholeheartedly, may you be equally gracious to us and teach us, our Father, merciful Father, who acts mercifully, have mercy upon us, instill understanding in our hearts, to understand, to elucidate, to listen, to learn, to teach, to safeguard, perform and fulfill all the words of your Torah's teachings with love. It says, enlighten our eyes to your Torah, attach our hearts to your commandments, and unify our hearts to love and to fear your name, that we may not feel inner shame. It takes a whole different meaning now when you have that definition. Because God so loved the world. He is so loyal to the world because He made a covenant. He made a covenant from Genesis chapters 1 verse 1. He made a covenantal relationship not only with humans, but the whole earth. And because of His name was proclaimed in Genesis, He is loyal to the world, that He will do whatever it took to get restoration and reconciliation of all things, including sending His Son to be the offering to bring reconciliation to all things. That's loyalty. The story of Abraham and Isaac is a type and shadow of that commitment. Abraham didn't go talking to Sarah. Yo, Sarah, man, we got a problem. You know that kid that we were waiting for forever? The miracle child that we couldn't do anything about, and just poof, it happened? Now the Lord is asking me to offer. What? Can you imagine, ladies? Can you imagine? I mean, she died right after that. You know that, right? She died. The rabbis know it. She probably got a heart attack from dying after that episode. So you never see Sarah, you never see Isaac for years after that. Okay? No. That's a test. Type and shout on the life of Abraham what I will do for Israel to keep my promise. Okay? Watch. So now, let's talk about adoption. If I stop, you going to come back? Yes. Listen, my voice is almost gone. And it's not easy to stop and go. So if we stop, can you do like 5 minutes and come back 10 minutes, please? That will help me tremendously. But before that, let's read this together. Terms of adoption used by Paul. Sons of Elohim, heirs, adoption, co-heirs, right? So now, let me ask you these questions before we take a quick break, and then we rest of the time to finish them. You don't have to answer them right now. I want you to meditate on this. Did you know that Jacob was adopted by Laban? That's one method of adoption. Jacob was adopted by Laban. I'm going to explain to you from the ancient Near East how that happened and why he gave Leah to Jacob instead of Rachel. Did you know that Moses was adopted by Jethro? And that explains why Moses, before he went to Egypt, he asked Jethro's permission, and then he sent his wife, the elder's daughter, back. Did you know that Solomon was legally adopted by Yahweh before David died? Did you know that Yeshua was legally adopted by Joseph, his father? Did you know that the baptism of Yeshua represents a legal way of Yahweh reclaiming Yeshua as his son? Legally? He's his son from everlasting. But according to the law, I'm going to show you that. Did you know that we are all legally adopted by Yahweh through Yeshua? This is very important. And these are the areas we're going to talk about when you come back. And we're going to talk about the ancient Near East, which basically explains then why baptism is so important. Why was Moses not killed by the king of Egypt when his daughter found her in the water? It was a decree by Pharaoh. Killed all the boys of Egypt. But then when his daughter brings Moses, how come he forgave Moses? He was an Israelite. He was in the river. He didn't die because of the ark, right? And you notice that Pharaoh makes a decree to kill all the Hebrews, but then when the daughter brings Moses, he adopts Moses. Wait a minute. According to the ancient world, when Pharaoh would decree something, it was law, sealed. Anybody will break it, it meant death. How come he didn't kill his daughter? And why did he kill Moses? You're going to know the ancient mindset of the ancient Near East of what the water by trial was. A trial by water. Which would explain why we need to be baptized. Why Yeshua pulled Peter out of the water. Why devil, the Satan, the accuser of the brethren, must die. Come back in 10 minutes.